want to bring in the Guthrie Fire Chief here in the great city of Guthrie, Dane Lausen. Dane, appreciate you stopping by and visiting with us here this evening.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome setup. First time I've been up here.
Yeah, thank you. This is where Phil and Ronnie take the full credit?
Correct. No, we did before the show started.
No, wait a second. Ronnie took the full credit.
Okay.
I walked in, heard him taking the full credit. He saw me, then he said, oh, and then the truth came out.
Yeah.
Dave does all the work, the building stuff.
Oh, I thought Chris and I built this.
You're still lying, Ronnie. Dave built the table.
Yep.
Chris gave him the design that he wanted.
Yep.
I mean,
What'd I do?
not a damn thing. Yeah, when it came to the table.
Fire Chief Dane Lausen, boy, the comments keep coming in. And if you have a question for Fire Chief Lausen, we'll be glad to throw those out here. But Dane, I'm officially old because I remember calling your football games on the radio. That's how old I am. How about it?
You talked about. I used to go to his house and play football. Me, him, and Kel, and that little bitty sliver of grass we had in his front yard. We do that every day in the summertime.
You guys classmates?
No, they're younger than me.
You're younger.
But Kel and Dane lived right there by us, and we'd walk down to Dane's house or Kel's house, and we had a little patch there of grass, and we played football in that little patch. And sometimes you get tackled on the concrete, and that just happened.
But Dane got the promotion. Fire Chief Eric Harlow previously took a job out of after retiring. I should say probably the easiest way to say it. Retired, and then a selection committee got together, got some interview. How was the interview?
It was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done.
Yeah,
honestly.
I can imagine.
It was my that was my second interview ever. My first one was with Guthrie Fire Department.
What year was that?
2009.
Okay.
Wow.
So in December 2009. So that was my first interview, and then for the fire chief, this was my second interview.
And I would think it's even tougher of an interview because you know the people, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know walking in there was going to be who all was going to be in there. So I saw familiar faces, and it kind of
that helps. Yeah, that helps. Yep.
So it was definitely a nerve-wracking deal.
Yeah, and so when you interviewed for that spot, you're not the oldest. You're not the oldest member at the Guthrie Fire Department. There's some gentlemen that had more years with you, older in age as well, including the battalion chiefs, and they were part of that deal. And I thought it was pretty cool that they all recommended you for that spot.
I couldn't thank those guys enough. I mean, you consider Chief Mactoff; he's been there for 28 years, and then you've got me coming in with 14 years, and now I'm above him, and him. Chief Maker, Chief Root, all three of them have been very supportive. I was kind of worried at first, coming in. Like I said, I've got way less years than they do, and they've been nothing but great and supportive, so I can't thank them enough.
Well, I think one thing, being in prior military myself, all the really smart officers, the junior grade officers, they came and found NCOs, non-commissioned officers. Typically, those guys have been in 14, 15 years already, much longer than they have. Here comes a young second or first lieutenant. The smart ones, the good ones, they go to those people with the experience and say, hey, listen, help me. And the great ones, and I see this with you, have no ego.
Correct.
They want to do a good job. They don't care about getting credit for stuff. They just want to do a good job, put a good product out there. So I've noticed that with you. It doesn't surprise any of us that know you. Yeah. You've done a great job, and we expect that you'll just continue to do that. But I think it's always awesome when you can get people in positions like fire chief, with people that are born and raised here.
Yeah,
that's a great thing.
Yep.
I think that means a lot. So I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive things with it. I'm sure there's a few things that especially being a police chief when David Devereaux was the police, the sheriff. And people get pulled over. I went to school with the police chief.
Yeah, I know.
With Damon.
Sign here, press on.
So, but definitely more advantages with that. So when was day one? May, June?
So day one was June 20th, and I was on shift the 18th. And Eddie was like, so when can you start? I was like, well, I'll start the 19th. And he was like, well, no, take a day off. And then come in. And he's like, just move in, take the first day, kind of relax, and just get your stuff situated, and then take off from there.
Yeah. You didn't even have the white gear. White stands for chief, and didn't even have your gear for,
I was wearing my
lieutenant.
Yeah, polo for a few weeks, but it's been great.
So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about with the fire department, and and we can spend 4 hours easily here tonight. So we're going to hit some of the big things, including a new service that is coming here soon. We're going to talk about that, and when we do, you can have your comments and questions anytime. We'll try to get to most as we can, but a cool subscription program coming up that can be a huge thing for your family. But before we get that, talk about the transition. And you've been around for 14 years for the fire department, so you know that. But talk about that transition from.
Sure. And so whenever Harlow told us he was retiring, he took us to breakfast at Simone's and told all of us officers that he's retiring. And whenever I talked to my wife about it, it wasn't really something I was interested in.
Okay.
But then you had the changeover with Leroy leaving and then Eddie stepping in, and it kind of scared me. And then not that anyone from the outside wasn't qualified, but I got to thinking, like, man, just someone can come in here with this unrealistic pipe dream, thinking they're going to fix our manpower situation and get us a second station, third station, all that. And we just don't have the infrastructure for that.
Yeah.
So after talking to my wife about it, I was like, I think I'm going to put in for it. It's something I really want to do now. The transition, it's been challenging, just for the simple fact I was union president for the last 7 years before I moved over to this chief's position. And but also in that same breath, I kind of undervalued how much it prepared me for this role. Mm-hmm. So, because there's a lot of politicking going on.
Yep. Yeah.
And but I do miss the guys. That transition's been hard, just like hanging out with them every night. I usually try to go in early and have breakfast with them and talk to them and just keep that relationship. But the transition's been pretty easy. And circle back to the battalion chiefs. They've been great and supportive, so it's made that transition easier.
Yeah.
And then all the other officers there, the firefighters, they've been very supportive. And it's been awesome.
You got a great crew. You really do.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a great crew.
Absolutely.
So the fire department, of course, you got your chief, and then you got 3 battalion chiefs, and each of those battalion chiefs overlooks a shift. And you have the red shift, the green shift, and the blue shift. Correct. And on each shift, you have 10 per shift, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And then, because we'll talk about manpower here in a little bit, but you have 10 per shift, and at any given time, it could be 6 guys on one shift, could be 8.
Sure.
Not necessarily 10 the entire time.
Correct, yeah. We've got 10, and then you usually have 2 off with vacation, and then you've kind of got a pad with someone calling in sick or someone being in class, continuing education, and all that stuff. So usually at the minimum, we have 8 to 7. So, and then if we drop below 6, we mandatory someone in if they don't volunteer to come in and work callback.
And, one of the big things, I'm sure you're working on these numbers here a little bit. Every year that call volume goes up. Of course, your EMS district is the entire Guthrie School District, plus some more northern Logan County and also eastern Logan County.
Correct.
So you have that huge area. And then you also, the fire district that you guys have. So it's a 2-for-1. Like in Edmond, there's a fire department and then there's an ambulance service. In Guthrie, it's all one roof.
We're cross-staffed.
Yeah, cross-staffed. So with that, with all those calls, and it will be just under 4,000, but usually we're getting closer to that 4,000 number of calls every year.
Correct.
And people live up and down Noble and Division. They hear you guys all the time.
Mm-hmm. So I've never had Facebook. But then
lucky you.
Yeah. So I made this Facebook for the fire department because our last one was deleted, and now I get to see all the comments like, where are the fire trucks going? Where's the police going?
Yeah.
What's going on? You know, so everyone's always curious. But yeah, we light up Division quite a bit. So even coming into this interview, they were heading out.
They were heading out.
So,
I know when not even we're in baseball season, during off-season baseball, we're the first people to hear them because we're right across the street from the fire department. So we hear it all the time. It's nonstop, it seems like.
And nonstop was a example last Thursday. Your guys were out on an accident with injury at State Highway 33 in Santa Fe, and then there's so many different car fire, hay bale fire, house fire. You guys went from one call to another, and these are 2 serious incidents.
Very serious. So we started the morning. We actually had to fly someone to OU Trauma, and then they went to another wreck after that one, just east.
Yep.
And then they couldn't even get back in service before another wreck came out. And then finally, that house fire came in, and there was 2 personnel, Captain Reeves and Firefighter Nettles, and they took the tanker over to that house fire.
With 2 people trapped.
With 2 people trapped, yep. So they got there and were able to get those 2 people out safely. And, I mean, the work those guys do every day, day in, day out, improvising to get calls taken care of, it's admirable.
When you have multiple stuff like that every day, do you have to call people in to help out, or were you able to control that just with the eight guys you had for that day?
We actually had some callback come in, and then we assisted LifeNet EMS. They came in and had to take that wreck, and then Captain Reeves actually responded with an ambulance by himself, and one of the first responders had to drive him to the hospital. And Edmond Fire Department Station 5 came all the way from Covell and 35 to help us out.
Good.
And that was for a 3-vehicle accident at 33 and 35.
Correct.
Because you guys
We
were still
all out on the 160 hay bales on fire.
160, and 4 of them burn a long time.
So
So
as-
in 160 of them.
Yeah.
So as chief, that's something you have to prioritize. Say, okay, I need help, so I need to call Station 5 in Edmond to come help me out, and you make that call.
Correct. Yeah, it's organizing mass chaos.
Right,
basically.
right, yeah.
But credit to our dispatch too, because goodness, they're getting inundated with those 911 calls, and they have to organize it. And
30 people calling about the same thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they're making the phone calls to get us the help we need, and they're kind of the unsung heroes because they work behind closed doors, so they're never seen in action.
Yeah.
So and they're our lifeline to our daily operations, so we can't thank them enough as well.
Yeah, not only getting information to you, but trying to keep the other side calm or relaying instructions for them to help the situation until you guys get there.
Sure.
Yeah, so no doubt about that. Saw Bree this past week and said, good job the other day. You worked hard on that.
She's a heck of a dispatcher.
She is really, really good. So, okay, so again, coming up here in a second, we're going to have a new subscription program that the Guthrie Fire Department will offer to all the great citizens here. And if you have a question, comment, we get those as well. Okay, so there for years you were with the union.
Sure.
And you know the city. When you look at the city budget, $3 million ish goes to the police department, $3 million ish for the fire department as well. Those are the 2 biggest budgets there. Sure. And so, you know, the equipment, you know, the taxpayers, CIP did get a ladder truck, but I always tell people who always ask about those fire trucks, you guys do too good of a job of keeping them clean and pretty, and they look really good, but underneath them, there's many
worn out.
miles and all that stuff associated with that. So just talk about your fleet as we kind of get into the budget and all that.
So, you know, we actually got really lucky with that ladder truck and new engine that we got. The ladder truck was purchased with the CIP funds, and the ladder, our new engine, our engine that we just purchased with the CARES Act money, we got that at a perfect time because now in today's market, Phil has seen it with our ambulances.
It's insane.
He's enjoyed those meetings.
It's insane.
But a new engine today and a ladder truck, I mean, whenever we spent $900,000 on that ladder, today it's probably 1.6, 1.7.
Yeah.
Wow.
The engine that we have today is approaching $1 million. And today they're not even locking in prices anymore. You secure your engine, and basically they tell you 3 years out, build out, and the price keeps raising. It's insane. So we've also, I mean, Phil's got to sit down, and he's on the 522 board now, and he got to see the prices for a new ambulance. So bumper to bumper, a new ambulance now is $419,000. So
And
It's
you guys
just
have
insane.
it is.
You have 5 ambulances, and at Washington City Council meeting, there's some things, flip-flopping chassis and all that other stuff that goes with that. But they also purchase a van, a van ambulance. I don't. Is that
Yeah.
is that
Basically, a
called?
transport
Yeah.
is what it is.
So we do a lot of transfers out of Mercy Logan to the facilities for higher level care, and we're trying to keep that van on the pavement as much as possible.
Right.
It's supposed to be just be doing transfers, and if they catch a 911 call coming back home, then we'll just take it. But that thing's already got like 3,000 miles on it already. It's been in
Just on
service 3 weeks,
transfers.
and that's just transfers.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's just not built to be on these roads. And you cover a lot of gravel roads, dirt roads, a lot of very difficult terrain getting in and out, and that thing just won't hold up.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just won't.
Absolutely.
So there's some good questions coming in here. We're getting to those here in just a second. You've been familiar with the budget and what it takes with all the pricing of these vehicles, but also manpower and needing a second fire station as well. Now you've seen both sides. Eric had to do a lot of that as well. Are you guys? Does your guys understand? Or do they? I know there's frustration there because they see it day in and day out, and the brunt of some situations.
Sure. And
and you're right in the middle of it. Now
Sure.
you're officially right in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I was a big advocate for it whenever I was union president.
Yeah.
And it's the guys back at the firehouse. They're very, very passionate.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating whenever our call volume's doubled in 5 years, and we just haven't got much help. But
Yeah.
the money is just not there. He realizes there's an issue, and he's been working on it. We've both been working on it. We've been brainstorming almost every day. He'll make a jab at me like, "Oh, great, the fire chief's in my office. What do you
Yeah.
need now?
Yeah.
What do you want now?" So, but no, Eddie's been great. But yeah, it's a challenge to fix our problem. I had a goal coming in. I wanted a second fire station. I wanted to get our call volume to match other people. So for instance, Edmond, their firefighters per man, they run like 88 calls per man on average. Our guys are running 148 on average.
Wow.
So my goal is to get them below 100. So we'll work on that, and hopefully we can find a solution.
And it's not just looking for solutions locally, but also statewide. And
Absolutely.
Especially with the EMS, and it's on property statements. EMS, you see that 3 mills, and that was established decades ago.
Sure.
And and this is not just a Guthrie. I always remind people it's not just a Guthrie issue. It's more so Guthrie because of the area that you got. You have both fire and ambulance, and plus your area is huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
The guys the other day had a call in the Wellston area, and
That blows my mind.
Yeah, they literally could have got on 66 and hit the chicken shack there in Edmond.
Why didn't they?
Should have.
Brought some chicken back.
I mean, after looking at the actual
We're talking about money now. Have you been to Chicken Shack lately? Holy cow! It's like
I'd buy it.
$60 a plate.
But after looking at the call, our fastest route was to actually go 35 to 2nd Street.
Isn't that crazy?
It is insane.
Well, and I think
And that doesn't count I-35. People forget about I-35 too.
Right.
143 to 171 ish.
Yeah.
It's a lot
But
of
and I
miles.
think also with all the construction going on, all the additional people moving to Guthrie, we were at a meeting. Was it Monday evening, Chris?
Monday,
Monday night, and they shared some data. Guthrie's since basically the first 100 years of existence plus population was flat,
10,000.
10,000. Last 10 years, population inside the city limits of Guthrie's went up by 2,000 people. I mean, there's over 900 permits filed with the city inside the city limits. That doesn't even count all the area you cover.
Right.
When you look at the area that our fire and rescue covers in the ambulance service, it's an enormous amount of homes being built. People
That
moving
count
into
the ones on the east side of Pine.
I mean, we talk about how one ambulance is over $400,000. We don't just need one. We're at a point with this growth. We're going to need to buy an ambulance about every year.
Sure.
And that takes money, And so that's one thing I've been telling folks, just talking in the community, is, listen, it's no different in your home budget. If you need things, you got to find a way to pay for them. You got to prioritize. You've got to do that. And there's nothing more important than the safety, health and safety of the citizenry. Right. There's nothing more important than that.
One of the questions here, G of Guthrie, and this has been kind of getting some momentum here a little bit, but what would a potential second station do as far as staff-wise, and kind of go into what a second station would look like? Of course, we would love to have a second station right now, but talk about what that would look like and where that would be a good location for.
So that's a great question. Eddie and I actually met with Bill, who owns OHC out there.
Bill Van
So that was kind of a location we were looking at. He said he would, he'd be willing to help us out with some land if we ever made it that far. It's getting a second
Which
station.
is off of Sooner Road behind
Right.
Oklahoma Home Center by the former across the street from what used to be rural water.
Correct. And that would be perfect because then at that point on car wrecks, ambulance calls, we can hop on the interstate, go north or south. Because besides, we had a study done, and then besides our city limits that most of our ambulance calls are in and fire runs, South counties are where we run to the most.
Heavy area. Yeah. I like that because we need to get that built within the next 10, 15 years because I'm going to need some ambulance runs to my house, and that's just down the road.
Right in the road.
Yeah.
What would that look like? Would you have an ambulance there?
So to staff it, that would be a challenge with our current manpower.
Right.
But I mean, it's something we can definitely look into.
We're going to have to hire more firefighters.
Correct.
I mean, we're going to have to. I mean,
We would send an ambulance out there, our boat, which we need to send a boat, and it needs to be hooked up 24/7.
And a lot of stuff inside.
Yes, inside. We'd send our rescue out there and a fire truck and our backup ladder.
Perfect situation. How many firefighters would be there?
Perfect situation. Well, perfect. We'd have at least 6 and 6.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the goal.
And that's, guys, listen, just by talking about the runs they're making, we're already understaffed.
Sure.
Right. Sure. And with the population growth, we're going to have to hire more people. I mean, and I think that's the big thing that as we talk about a lot of different needs within the community, and there's a ton of them. But again, your first responders, your fire and your police officers have to be manned correctly. They have to have the things that they need to do their job. And I don't care. I don't care. I mean, we all want things, but these are things you have to have. It's like having a roof on a house. Right. I mean, you got to have these things. So we're going to have to, as a citizenry, we're going to have to get used to the idea that it's not 2008. It's not, darn sure not 1978, and it's going to take more people, more facilities, more equipment based purely on the amount of people that are here. I mean, you can't, I got to believe the number was 140 some on average.
Yes, 148.
That's beyond. I mean, that's crazy.
That's a lot. And just to be clear, I mean, you touched on the point. I mean, we're not the only department that needs help.
Right.
Police needs help. Tenny's crews need help. City Hall needs help.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody needs help. So I can just get up here and express my concerns and our needs. So
Yeah.
I realize every department throughout the city needs help.
And that's a good problem because at least I grew up in a town where it's dying. I mean, it's going backwards. I mean, these are real world problems and they're not easy problems to solve. Sure. But with more people coming in, that means more money's coming in. It's more, so there is a solution there. But I just think we got to have a paradigm shift on how we look at things and how we think about things. We're not the Guthrie of old. We're growing and we're going to continue to grow. I mean, we just are.
K-Man says, Dane, how much does the budget need to increase to make this second department happen? I'll donate 25 right now. Let's make it happen.
That 25 million? Is that 25 million?
I think he left the M off,
25 million?
or the
Yeah,
B.
he did.
Okay.
Mr. Cruz, he's got the money.
Yeah. But
So he forgot
Just
the-
sitting on it.
You're just a check away from helping us out, brother.
I bring that comment up to say that the city is proactively looking for the right thing. There was a task force put together by the city council to look at future capital needs, and a second fire station has come up, and just trying to move the city forward. So, although we need this for a while, it doesn't mean that we're just sitting back hoping the money just falls in the lap.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
So I want to bring that up there real quick. J.F. Guthrie says growth is a good thing.
Yeah.
Ken, I think you had something earlier. I'll go back. Ken says, in the short term, have you all thought about hiring a contract EMS company to help out until a second department and personnel is established? And I have my 2 cents, but you probably go with
I
that.
got 4. You got 2.
I mean,
I got 4.
that's a great question. But if we brought in another EMS agency, for one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had IMSA bid it, and I think you may have been part of that. And that was like 5 years ago. And they quoted like $1.2 million a truck.
Yeah.
Per truck.
Per truck. We have 5 ambulances right now, and we've proven that's not even enough.
Not enough, yeah.
So, and also to feed into that point, if we got rid of the ambulance, we would lose our 522 district money. And then on top of that, we would also lose our revenue that we collect from the ambulance. So you would be looking at losing almost $2 million right there. So you're cutting over half of our department.
2/3.
So, but that is a great question. But
It is.
It's just not feasible for our department.
And Ken, I would add one more thing on that. Dane hit on the dollars, but the service would also go down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was talking to Eddie not too long ago, and you're a perfect example. And there's a lot of these examples at the firehouse, but your guys live here in Guthrie, so going on a call, you guys know the area,
Correct.
probably what's going to happen if there's an accident at this location, you kind of know exactly what you're going to be looking at with speeds. But your guys are here, and there's some of the two newest guys, Zeb and Jake are here in Guthrie, and that's just two small examples.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think again, we can, because I think when people look at police and fire, all they see when they look at the overall budget is, well, those are the two biggest expenditures. Well, if you just think about it, there's an obvious reason for that. I mean, it is what it is.
Equipment's expensive.
It's expensive. I mean, the damn, I don't call it the right thing. The
striker.
The striker.
Striker.
When I found out how much one of those cost, I about passed out. I mean, you need to ease guys into these things.
After our last meeting, we took Phil to show him
smokes.
the new ambulance and the stretcher, and I told him how much it cost, and he was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I said, we're in the wrong business. We need to start one of those companies. It was crazy. Well, tell the people what it cost.
So
It's insane.
yeah, the Striker, it's a power loading stretcher.
It's a stretcher.
which we put
It's a
our
very nice
patients on.
stretcher. It's a very nice stretcher.
Very nice stretcher. $40,000.
No, Ronnie. Ronnie, there's more. Go ahead, Chief.
The lift system.
That makes it work?
The
Go
lift
ahead.
system that you have to put in the ambulance is 32. So you're looking at over $70,000 setup.
Why don't we just go back to the MASH days?
Yeah, just carry people.
Carry some bitch.
I mean, Reeves is strong.
Yeah, he is.
Holy cow.
Not everyone's 125 pounds.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil.
Felt a little personal right there. No, but I think the point is there's nothing inexpensive in the business you're in.
Right.
It's just not inexpensive. I mean, we don't have to like it.
Phil, they got a franchise for these things?
Well, if they did,
I'm in. Sign me up. Get the paperwork done. I'll sign tomorrow.
I'd be calling up saying, I want the whole southeast part of the country.
Yes.
But there's nothing inexpensive. There's no easy answers, but we're going to have to come up with answers.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I'm not talking about the city. I'm not talking about the chief and the staff. Us taxpayers.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to have to come up with the answers. And that's going to mean paying more money. I mean, it just is. I mean, it just is. That's how we're going to get this stuff.
More fees.
Love fees. Love fees.
Dane, Billy Poppin asked, any federal grants out there that might help? If there is, I'm sure they're very highly competitive, but I'm not sure if I've ever heard about federal grants with EMS. Is there? Yeah.
So there's a grant out there for manpower.
Okay.
We've always been told we haven't qualified, but I made a call down to OFSA, and they actually said we do qualify. It's something that I'd have to get with Eddie and see if he's okay with going after. It's a safer grant, and basically you get a certain percentage of the salaries paid for, and then the city slowly takes over
Gotcha.
those salaries. And I think it's like 5 years before you fully are paying the full amount for those bodies.
I got one more question. I got one more question before we get into this EMS program, which I think is going to be a great thing for families out there in the area. And we're going to give that a lot of focus here in a second. But is there still a young crowd looking to get into firefighting and paramedic? Is there still good numbers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we just did our last hiring process, and we had, in my short 15 years, we've had the most people show up. And I want to say there's 44 applicants, and 38 wound up showing up to the written and physical test. So, and that was for 2 spots. And so we definitely had a good showing. And there's been several. I follow OSU OKC's Instagram and social media and out at EOC, and they've got a lot of students in their classes right now.
That's good.
That is really, really good.
I took an application and Dane laughed at me.
Hysterically.
Oh no, it was hysterical. Yeah.
All right. A big part of the reason why we have Fire Chief Dane Lausen on with us tonight is the City of Guthrie and the Guthrie Fire Department are going to be beginning a new subscription program that can be a huge benefit to your family. And Dane, I will let you kind of describe what it is, but hopefully this can all get started January 1, 2024.
So the program is actually live now. We've been working with our billing company, and I think she is in the comments, actually, Morgan, with EMSMC.
Okay.
And she's going to be helping answering some questions, too, that may pop up. But they've been absolutely great. They've made this process so easy. And it was just an idea that was pitched to us, and we just kind of ran with it. Basically, it's separate from the fire subscription. But anyone that lives within our EMS response district can pay $100, and it covers the entire household, no matter how many times you call the ambulance.
$100 a year.
$100 a year for the full year, and if you sign up now, you're getting all December as well, and then it starts January 1. So the link is on the website. Thank you to Aaron Ryburn for putting that up there.
On the city website?
On the city website.
Yep.
You can Google cityguthrie.com and find the website. You fill out information. It's, like I said, $100 for the full year. If we come out and transport you by ambulance, we are going to bill your insurance and write off the remaining balance.
And that's available to everyone except for Medicaid patients, correct?
Medicaid patients are not allowed to sign up.
And that's for That's for incidents within our area.
Within our area.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so if you have an ambulance, you go visit your grandma in Ardmore, and Ardmore or whoever covers them transports you, that does not fall into that.
Correct.
And that's per family too.
That is per family. That will cover
That's a
everyone
bargain.
under the household.
That's a bargain.
And so is this something for, I mean, like I've been married for 23 years and we needed the ambulance one time. So you look at that, and there was no transfer. What?
You need an ambulance?
I didn't.
Oh.
I called.
Oh.
But so $100 a year, I'm just saying it's available for anyone. People who never need an ambulance, because there could be that one time, and this could cover a lot of financial.
Sure. It's the same way with our fire subscription fee. You pay it and you may not use us. But it's always something good to have.
No doubt.
It's kind of like my insurance. I never needed it, but I got to have it.
Well, it's $100 a year
Yeah.
for the family.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's.
So
I'm going
That's
to wear
pretty
that
good
out
deal.
here in a little bit.
But you also talked about a fire subscription program as well. Just to
Correct.
touch on that real quick,
Correct.
because
And
there's
that's-
two separate things.
yes, and we got several of those questions asking if they're the same thing, and they are not. They're going to be completely separate. But yeah, the fire subscription, same way. If we run on a house fire, grass fire, anything that requests the fire department, if we come out, it'll be wrote off. We'll bill the insurance, and then that's it. So the fees they're pretty high. I mean, it's like $280 per hour per truck.
Oh, really?
Per man. So that
My
fire-
insurance
that-
must have paid ours when we had our house fire back in 2009. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because that turned out.
Did you subscribe?
Oh, that's a Tanya.
No.
That's a Tanya question.
There you go.
We must have. No, we
Maybe.
must have.
No, maybe.
Because we didn't have any additional expense, so we must have.
When you talk about that fire membership program, I think of a lot of people. I think of people in the county with that. Is that right?
Yes, it's outside our city limits,
But the EMS subscription program is for
inside city limits and outside. Anybody that lives within our EMS,
which is the
response
Guthrie School District.
Yes, and then the 520, the extra 522
The
that
extra.
covers the northeast county and south.
Correct.
Stefan's got a good question, I think.
Steph asked, and we do see Morgan. She's here, so Morgan, help us out. If there's a question that you get often, Morgan, let us know what that is and obviously the answer. But Steph says, is it just for your home address, or if you're downtown, will it cover costs there as well?
So that's a great question. That's going to be covering you wherever you're at, as long as you're within our response district.
So I can fall down the stairs
One of the 27,
There's 27 of them, Chief.
up and down.
And I'm good
Yep.
Doesn't have to be at your house.
because there's a high probability that'll happen at some point for me.
You think you got a cane already?
Oh, boy.
Ken says a life alert and subscription. What a great idea. And so that $100 weapons, if I get that in February, does it go to February or does it go to January?
That would be a good question for Morgan, but I believe you're good. You're covered for a full year, but they're trying to get it January to January.
I knew that would
schedule.
be to make it easier on everybody. So, yeah, because someone admit,
Well, people move in. Someone moves in March. You're like, okay, well, yes, I'll take this. I mean, surely you would be covered for, or from March to March. I would.
Easy, Ronnie. You're making assumptions.
I mean,
well,
as a citizen, that's what I would want.
well,
too.
another scenario is if I have it and I use the service and I tell all my neighbors, oh man, I really paid off to have that subscription fee, and they're like, "What's subscription fee?"
Yeah.
Everyone in Guthrie is watching this podcast, but for those two that are not watching,
Yeah.
they would find out. Oh,
We know who you
wow,
are.
Maybe
We know who you
maybe I need to do
Yeah,
that.
this first couple of years, it's going to be word of mouth, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to be putting it on social media again, and
We'll
then,
promote it, obviously.
So Morgan and her team are actually using this company to mail out flyers, but they've just got addresses for people that we've ran on in the past, so it's just going to be going to them. So it'd be great if we could send it to all
Yeah.
60,000 people.
Yeah.
Cover.
Couple of things here. Morgan says it will be from January to January. And then Carson has a great question. What does an ambulance ride usually cost if you don't have this subscription?
So that's a great question.
Great question.
And we just brought that up to the council
Yep.
a few weeks back to raise our rates a little. It wasn't punishment to our citizens. Basically, Morgan helped us out. We had two similar companies, and we looked at their rates, and basically we cut them in the middle. So we raised our rates. Like I said, it wasn't a punishment. It's to combat these costs.
Yeah.
So you've seen them firsthand.
They're outrageous,
You've
yeah.
seen them. I'm sure you've seen them. So right now, I believe an ALS call where a
Advanced
paramedic
life.
takes it. Yes, it's about $2,200 plus your mileage.
I can tell you what it was in Oklahoma City about 9 years ago. It was more than that.
It was just a small episode.
It was a small episode, but I woke up and my shirt was unbuttoned, my feet were elevated, and a bunch of people didn't know were looking at me.
I thought he was in college again.
I said, what frat house am I at?
And before I forget, Morgan, and then if you guys want more information, I think I did an article. I can't remember if I did or not, but if not, I need to do one. But an easy way to have this answer. There's another question here, but Guthrie Fire in EMS is the Facebook site. I pulled that up real quick. Guthrie Fire EMS. So if you're on Facebook, that you definitely want to follow that. And this is one that I pulled up on November 3rd, and it has all the information right here. Again, you're probably going to be getting some stuff in the mail from Morgan and her company as well. But we'll also, I think I did an article. I don't know why. I would almost have to think I did an article, but probably need to recirculate that again. But that's great information there. Guthrie News page will have it as well. But you can, of course, they can always call the fire department as well.
Absolutely.
Question: would one of the programs not cover a home in the new Belmont edition east of town off of Westminster?
Wonder what the cross streets are on that.
Yeah. Oh, firefighters and police, they're so good with their cross.
Oh, Belmont, that'd be 33 Belmont. That would be, yeah.
If he, yeah.
What's your crush for?
I'm not
it's-
recognizing the Belmont edition.
It's just past, it's about a half a mile past EMI.
Oh,
You go,
then, yeah, they're
it's
absolutely.
It has
Easily within
the storage 33s right there.
Yeah.
that road, that's
they're,
Belmont's right there.
definitely in our
Yeah.
response district. So,
So it would cover.
They would be covered.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because he goes miles past that. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Reeves
Yeah.
stepped right up. Westminster between College
I'm
and 33.
telling you,
There you go.
Yeah,
these
there you
guys,
go.
they know these.
know it.
Yeah,
He
college.
lives
Yeah.
right next to that edition, not too far
Oh,
from it.
don't give out his location.
So subscription plan, again, you can email Chief Lausen, D Lausen, and it's Lausen. How many times is that messed up?
Oh, I spell it every time.
Yeah.
Anytime everyone asks the last
Get all the
name, I
mail.
just start spelling it.
Yeah.
I don't even say it.
Yeah. Email D Lausen, Lausen, at cityofguthrie.com. guthrie.com. Of course, you can always call the Guthrie Fire Department or the City of Guthrie.
Yep, 911.
No. Emergencies only.
Okay, no.
That turns into a that turns into
watching right now.
Yeah, that turns into a police and sheriff issue after that.
Okay.
This is how he got sent to Florida last night.
I
Stuff like
understand.
this.
Send me back.
You got the help you needed. That's all that matters.
I didn't think I was thinking of Chief Lausen, but I didn't think Chief Lawton.
Oh, boy.
Is that another one?
I saw that.
It was Reeves. We need a call to go out for. Is he on right now?
No.
Okay, never mind. He's got time on his hands.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I think I know this answer, GF Guthrie, but I'll let Chief Lawson talk about that because I was at the fire chief meeting. And are any fire trucks going to have Christmas lights?
Oh, we will be in the parade Saturday night.
You got built-in Christmas lights all year round.
Yep. We need we've never decorated our truck in Christmas lights.
That'd be a good community service thing to work off your time. Ronnie,
For the
put on some
audio.
for the situation.
I know some baseball guys that help out.
Yeah.
Move right across the street.
Reese can do it. I mean, he seems like
He's got free time.
Yeah.
Well, I probably should not end this on here, so we got to come up with one more thing after this. But I always think it's so important, and I get to go on a lot of scenes that you guys, as far as covering events, and you guys see it day in, day out. But do you watch your guys closely on? Because they see some stuff. You guys all see some stuff. Do you guys watch out after each other, and are there signs that you guys look out for? Because they're supposed to be tough guys.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they try to cover that up, which is not a good thing to do.
Sure.
So I just talk to that because I know a lot of people always on social media always say prayers for you guys because there's a bad accident here or there, and they're giving prayers for the families, but they're also praying for you guys just because of what you guys go from day to
Could
day.
never do it.
No,
Couldn't imagine.
no way.
Couldn't imagine.
No way.
You know, like Reeves and Nettles and those guys, just last Thursday on that morning, whenever they flew a guy that was in really bad shape. I mean, every part of his bones were broken in every limb. They didn't even get to come home and decompress from that. Then they go straight to a house fire, and they're pulling out someone's family's pets.
Yeah.
So it's just repetitive. So, but when we come back to the station, it's a sense of humor that no one's going to understand.
Right.
It's just a bond that we have,
Yep.
and we, help joke not about the call, but just with each other,
Yeah.
and give each other
Yeah.
banter and tease each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way we decompress.
Yeah.
Because it's repetitive in nature. Just how many things you can see in one shift.
Yeah.
So,
Which is 24 hours.
yeah. So the other day, Edmond Fire Department came up and did a little debriefing with us. The guys weren't too happy about it, but after opening up and talking about it, I think it really helped.
There's got to be resources too, though, through the union or someplace where if they are feeling the heaviness that they have to feel,
Sure, absolutely.
that they can reach out to confidentially, talk to. I mean, I would think, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's several resources, and there's actually some that specialize in first responders.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal.
Okay, so thank you, Ken. We can find something here to try to end it here pretty soon. We got to get Dane home. Ken asked, do y'all fill swimming pools up in the summer?
We do not. I promise you that water that comes out of those tanks, you'll spend more on chemical fixing it. So we do not do that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I tried, Ken. I tried.
Not even for board members on the email.
We could probably work something.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Buy me a new ambulance.
Oh, okay, got it.
All part of the system.
Check.
Any other strange requests like that you guys get?
Believe it or not, we do get the cats in the trees.
I was going to ask you, when's the last time you had a cat in a tree one?
Have you?
I've never heard that call.
I just asked the person that calls, have you ever seen a skeleton of a cat in a tree?
No.
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 No. They'll come down.
Yeah, they'll go there.
They'll come down.
It's a good answer.
Well,
Well, Ronnie hates cats. I love cats.
True. I don't like cats.
Reeves, I think you beat Reeves on that one, but he said no skeletons, no cat skeletons in the trees. K-Man says, this has actually been a great show. I didn't have any expectations, but this was really entertaining, and I'll hit that subscribe button.
Thank
for
you, Steven. My goodness.
And
Steve, goodness gracious.
and Chief, you better listen close to this one. Morgan says she would like to get one of those sweet hats. So I think
Oh, we can get her one.
yeah, you'll want to take care of her.
Yeah, she was supposed to stop by and say hi eventually, but well, I'll get her one.
All right.
Even if I have to mail it.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, don't leave out
$25.
Don't leave out Phil,
I got
please.
I'll pay for it,
Doesn't mean you can wear it to different places.
but I'll have a badge.
Yes, yeah.
A
See where this is heading? See where this is heading?
sticker, Phil.
My father
she said-
actually wore one in Walmart. This was several years back, and someone came up and thanked him for his service. he's like, "You're welcome."
CYFYS. That's
our buddy.
Stolen valor.
Oh, okay. I thought Morgan said this month, but I think she's going to give you a month to get that hat to her. So,
Oh, Reeves has got me covered. Reeves has got me.
oh boy,
My buddy.
that was
Give me an old one. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Morgan. Thank you for being on standby for us. And if you need to get some information to the news page, let me know through Dane or my email, news@guthrieNewsPage.com, about the subscription program.
Yeah. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, and that kind of goes toward into a budget, the subscription.
Yes, yeah. I hope so. We can hopefully we'll get a good turnout and we'll be able to buy us a stretcher.
Yeah,
Oh, I hope so.
and provide a service. That's the most important thing there. So, Chris Talbot says, last word. Good job, Dane.
Yep. Good job.
Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Chris.
So, we will let you go.
I wanted to say one more thing.
Oh, absolutely. Perfect.
I just want to thank you guys. Seriously, all the new stuff you do for us, Chris, it's always positive. I appreciate it. You know, my wife and I, we always watch football and the games we can't go to.
Appreciate that.
Signing in, I mean, you guys, your coverage is second to none.
Appreciate that. That's
I know
awesome.
Guthrie's very lucky to have you guys. I appreciate you having taken the time out of your night to do this for us. So I really appreciate it.
Okay, you said that and it triggered another memory here. I'm trying to find the picture. I can't find it right now, but Joe Patello of the Guthrie Police Department. This is something that you've come on as well. I think you've had a couple of presentations like this, acknowledging people who who help you guys out in the public.
Sure. It's simple to do and just acknowledging someone that's gone above and beyond.
Well, and you can do things too, and I think our community does a good job of this. But like when there's in the summer months and when grass fires are so hot, you'll see people bringing water, bringing Gatorade, bringing stuff down, and encourage people to continue to do those things. You know, there's always needs. I mean, you know, they're working on a shoestring at the fire station.
That's a great point because that last big fire we had, I mean, there's a line of cars, water, snack. I can't thank the public enough for the support.
Very cool. Very cool. Dane, appreciate you.